All right, let me tell you something. My phone starts blowing up at 3 in the morning, a weird international number. I pick it up, and it's my wife, Sarah, screaming down the line. I mean, screaming. Our flights are gone. The airline says they've been canceled. We're stranded in Bali. I took a slow sip of my coffee, looked around my blissfully quiet house, and said, I know. I canceled them. The shriek she let out could have shattered glass. But don't worry, I added, just before I hung up. I'm sure your best friend Mark will figure out a way to get you both home. Yeah, that's how my wife found out that I knew her girls' trip was actually a romantic vacation with her lover, funded entirely by me. And you're damn right I left them there. How did we get to this point? Grab some popcorn. It's a hell of a story. It all started, as these things often do, with a perfectly normal Tuesday night. Sarah and I had been married for 5 years. From the outside, we were the perfect couple. Good jobs, nice house in the suburbs, cute dog, the whole 9 yards. I work in logistics, which means long hours, but it pays well. I always felt like it was my job to provide, to make sure she had everything she wanted. And what she wanted, more than anything, was to travel and have experiences. I was happy to give her that. Or so I thought. So, this one Tuesday, she comes to me with this glossy travel brochure, her eyes sparkling. Honey, she says, Jessica and I were talking, and we were thinking, a girl's trip, just for a week, to Bali. Jessica was her best friend since high school. She was at our house all the time. A little loud for my taste, always seemed to be living for the drama. But she made Sarah happy, so I never said anything. Bali, huh? That sounds amazing, I said. I was genuinely happy for her. She worked hard as a marketing manager, and she deserved a break. I knew you'd understand, she squealed, hugging me. We've been planning it all out. There's this incredible yoga retreat, and we want to see the temples, and just, disconnect. Over the next few weeks, the trip was all she talked about. She and Jessica would be huddled over their laptops, giggling and pointing at pictures of villas with infinity pools. I'll admit, a part of me was a little jealous, stuck at home while she was off to paradise. But mostly, I was just glad to see her so excited. She found these first-class tickets that were ridiculously expensive, but she gave me the whole, you only live once speech. I caved. You know what? I said one night, feeling generous. Let me handle it. Consider it an early anniversary present. Her face lit up. I went online and booked the 2 non-refundable, first-class tickets on Qatar Airways. I even splurged on the luxury private villa she'd been dreaming about. The total cost made my eyes water, but seeing her that happy, I told myself it was worth it. She promised to call and text every single day. The day she left, I drove her and Jessica to the airport. They were both buzzing with excitement. Sarah gave me a long kiss goodbye. I'll miss you so much, she whispered. Thank you for this. For everything. I watched them walk towards security, dragging their designer suitcases behind them, laughing together. I felt a pang of loneliness, but pushed it down. It was just a week. The first couple of days were fine. I got a text when they landed, complete with a dozen heart emojis. She sent a picture of a cocktail by a pool. The caption read, Finally here. Paradise is everything. Missing you. XOXO. Standard stuff. But then, things got weird. Our scheduled video call got canceled. Sorry, babe. Bad reception at the temple, she texted. The next day, she missed another one. Exhausted from surfing lessons. Early night for us. The texts became shorter, more generic. The pictures she posted on Instagram were also strange. They were all stunning shots of her, posing in a bikini on the beach, smiling serenely in front of a statue, holding a tropical flower. Jessica was barely in any of them, and when she was, it was a quick selfie where they were smushed together, the background totally out of focus. It felt staged. I tried to brush it off. I'm a logical guy, a logistics guy. My brain looks for patterns, for things that don't add up. And this wasn't adding up. But I told myself I was being paranoid. She was on vacation. I needed to relax. The 4th day, the paranoia got a lot harder to ignore. I was scrolling through my own social media feed during lunch when a post from an old college buddy, Dave, popped up. He'd posted a picture of his wife. The caption read, Anniversary dinner at the most amazing spot in Bali. Pricey, but worth it for my queen. I smiled. Good for them. But then I looked closer at the photo. Behind Dave's wife, in the blurred background of the fancy, open-air restaurant, was a familiar figure. A woman with blonde hair, wearing a white dress I'd bought for Sarah's birthday. She was laughing, her head tilted back. And sitting across from her, holding her hand on the table, was a man. It wasn't Jessica. My stomach dropped. I zoomed in as much as I could. The image was grainy, but it was her. I was sure of it. And the man. I knew him too. It was Mark. Mark was Sarah's work husband. A guy from her office she was always talking about. "Oh, Mark is hilarious," she'd say. "He just gets my sense of humor." They texted a lot, had inside jokes I was never privy to. I'd met him a few times at company parties. Smarmy guy. Too handsome, too charming. I'd always had a weird feeling about him, but Sarah always accused me of being jealous. "He's just a friend." "God, can't I have male friends?" she'd snap. So I'd backed off. I'd trusted her. My heart was hammering against my ribs. It couldn't be. It had to be a coincidence. But the evidence was right there, in the background of some random guy's anniversary photo. My brain went into overdrive. I needed more information. I went to Mark's social media pages. All private. Of course. Then I remembered something. Months ago, Sarah had set up a shared cloud account for our photos, so that pictures from both our phones would automatically sync into one album. She said it was so we could easily make photo books. We hadn't used it in a while, but I still had the app on my computer. With a trembling hand, I clicked it open, and my world ended. It was all there. The album, which was supposed to be full of pictures of our dog and our last vacation to the Grand Canyon, was now filled with hundreds of new photos. Photos from Bali. But they weren't of Sarah and Jessica. They were of Sarah and Mark. There they were, kissing in the infinity pool of the villa I paid for. There they were, clinking champagne glasses at that fancy restaurant from my friend's photo. There were selfies of them in bathrobes, in the massive king-sized bed of the master suite. There was a photo of Sarah, beaming, wearing a brand new diamond and sapphire necklace, a necklace I had definitely not bought her. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The air was sucked out of my lungs. It wasn't just cheating. This was a different level of betrayal. The sheer audacity of it. The meticulous planning. She had used me. Used my love, my trust, and my money to fund a romantic honeymoon with another man. And Jessica. Jessica was in on it. The whole thing was a lie. Then I saw it. The thing that made the anger turn from a hot, roaring fire into something cold and sharp and deadly. It was a screenshot of a text chain between Sarah and Jessica. "Jessica, he totally bought it. Have fun, you too. Just make sure you post some pics that look like we're together. Sarah, you're the best. I owe you big time. Spa weekend on me when I get back. Jessica, you better. And I want all the juicy details. Is he as good as you hoped?" Winking face. At that moment, it wasn't even anger I felt. It was this cold, hollow feeling in my chest. A complete and utter emptiness. The woman I had loved, the life I thought we were building, it was all a sham. A joke. And I was the punchline. I sat there for maybe an hour, just staring at the screen, at the smiling faces of my wife and her lover. I felt nothing. It was like a switch had been flipped. The part of me that loved her, that would have done anything for her, just died. And in its place, a plan began to form. It was a beautiful plan. Simple. Elegant. Final. I pulled up the airline confirmation email. There were their names, right next to each other. Sarah and Jessica. Of course, the second ticket wasn't for Jessica at all. It was for Mark. The return flight was in 2 days. I looked at the top corner of the screen. There it was. A little blue button that said, Manage Booking. I clicked it. A new page loaded. It showed the flight details, the seat numbers, and a few options. Change flight. Upgrade seats. And there, at the bottom, was the most beautiful word I had ever seen in my life. Cancel. I moved the cursor over the button. I thought about her lies. I thought about her laughing with him in my bed, on my dime. I thought about the 5 years I had poured into this marriage, into her, only to be made a fool of. And I clicked it. Are you sure you want to cancel this booking? This action is irreversible. A small, grim smile touched my lips. Oh, I'm sure, I said to the empty room. I clicked confirm. A message popped up. Your booking has been successfully canceled. I got an email a second later with a travel voucher for a pathetic fraction of the cost. I didn't care. The first thing I did after that was call a lawyer. I found the highest-rated, most ruthless-looking divorce attorney in the city and scheduled a meeting for the next morning. Then, I went upstairs and started packing. I took every single thing that belonged to Sarah, her clothes, her shoes, her books, her makeup, and put it all into boxes. I was methodical. I didn't break anything. I didn't throw anything. I just erased her from my house. Then, I picked up my phone and sent one last text to Jessica. I know you're not in Bali. I know everything. I hope you enjoy that spa weekend Sarah owes you. Don't contact me again. Then I blocked her number. I blocked her on everything. Then I did the same for Sarah. And then I waited. For 2 days, I lived in a state of surreal calm. I went to work. I walked the dog. I ordered pizza and watched a movie. It was the quietest the house had been in years. It was peaceful. And then, at 3 o'clock on Friday morning, my phone rang. An unsaved number with an Indonesian country code. I let it ring a few times, then I answered. The screaming started immediately. Our flights are gone. They're canceled. What happened? I let her panic for a moment. It was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. I know, I said calmly. I canceled them. The silence on the other end was deafening. Then, a sputtering, confused, "What? Why would you do that? We're stranded here. Jessica and I are at the airport, and they're saying our tickets don't exist." "That's funny," I said, my voice dripping with ice. "Because I'm looking at photos of you and Mark kissing in a pool right now. Your girl's trip looks really romantic." Her breath hitched. What are you talking about? Mark isn't here." "Stop lying, Sarah. It's over. I saw the pictures in the cloud album. The kissing. The romantic dinners. The selfies in bed in the villa I paid for. I even saw your texts with Jessica, your little accomplice. So, no, you're not stranded. You're just on an extended vacation. I figured you and your lover could use some more quality time together." She started sobbing then. A pathetic, panicked sound. "No, baby, it's not what it looks like. You have to believe me. Please, you have to fix the flights." "No," I said, and the finality in my own voice surprised me. "I don't. That was a gift for my wife, and it turns out I don't have one anymore. You can have fun booking your own way home. Oh, and Mark's ticket, too. My treat is officially over." I continued, my voice cold and steady. "By the time you get back, if you get back, the locks will be changed. Your things are in a storage unit. The key is with my lawyer. He'll be in touch." Her pleading turned into hysterical screaming, but I just held the phone away from my ear until she was done. When all I could hear was her gasping for air, I said, "Goodbye, Sarah," and I hung up. The aftermath was exactly as chaotic as you'd imagine. I got a flood of hysterical voicemails and texts from her parents, calling me a monster for abandoning their daughter in a foreign country. I replied to their group text with a single, password-protected link to an online photo gallery titled Sarah's Girls Trip. I put 5 of the most damning photos in there. The text stopped immediately. Sarah and Mark were apparently stuck in Bali for 5 more days, forced to buy 2 last-minute, one-way tickets in economy for a price that probably made their eyes bleed. I heard through the grapevine that the whole experience of being stranded with no money and no plan kind of killed their romantic vibe. Shocking, I know. Jessica's boyfriend, who was a decent guy and a friend of mine, got the whole story from me. He dumped her on the spot. Last I heard, she was still trying to convince people she was the real victim in all this. The divorce was incredibly simple. When you have photos of your wife in bed with another man on a trip you paid for under false pretenses, there's not much to argue about. The infidelity clause in our state's laws worked beautifully in my favor. She walked away with her boxes of stuff and not much else. And me? I'm doing just fine. The house is quiet. The dog is happy. And I'm free. Turns out, that little cancel button wasn't just for an airline ticket. It was for my whole damn life. And it was the best click I've ever made. So yeah, that's how I found out I was single while my wife was 8,000 miles away. It was a messy, expensive lesson, but honestly, totally worth it. If you want to hear more crazy stories from my life, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't believe what I decided to do with that airline travel voucher. It's a story all on